Hey, so we're here at my Aunt Deb's house. We're gonna talk with Aunt Deb about my song "Make It to Tomorrow" because Aunt Deb is a licensed mental health professional, and so I just been curious about like what her reactions and thoughts are around the song. So we're gonna chat. I think the first therapist I had as an adult
Yes.
was through BetterHelp. And he was really helpful, but a white Jewish guy.
Yes.
So the reason why I was really feeling like I need to go to therapy in the first place at the time was specifically around racial stress.
Yes.
I was reading all the time about systemic racism, nonviolent struggle. I was staying up sometimes till 3 a.m. reading like all these freedom fighters because a part of that weight, that boulder that I'm talking about is literally just, okay, this is weighing on me,
Yes.
right? And a way to alleviate this stress, my first thought was systemic,
Yes.
because there's this, you ever heard me talk about the parable of the babies?
No.
In the parable, there's this village by a river, and every morning the villagers are awakened by the sound of babies that are flowing down this river.
Yes. Yes.
And every day they go and
Yes.
pick individual babies out of the water.
Yes.
And one day one of the villagers goes, we need to go upstream and see where these babies are coming from.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that was like a huge mind or paradigm shift
Yes.
for me
Yes.
in my thought as about social justice and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, it's like, a revolution would really help my mental health. You know what I mean? If we could just like stop the racism thing,
Right.
I would feel better about
Right.
living in the world.
Right.
So I mean, I'm staying up till 3 a.m. at times, reading like Dr. King's work, Gandhi, Tolstoy, Thoreau, and chasing down this whole genealogy of nonviolent struggle. And I'm talking to my therapist about this one occasion. I was out with some coworkers, all of them are white, and we were at a bar and we were talking about the military, and they were like, yeah, the military keeps us safe. And I'm like,
Wow.
from who?
Right.
From who? And I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but they were saying like, somehow they got to like, they were like Pearl Harbor. That's how far back they had to go.
Yes.
Right. I guess
Yes.
they could have gone back to 9/11, but
Right.
they went back to Pearl Harbor. And I was like, they were like, well, Pearl Harbor, like the Japanese bombed, Pearl Harbor. And I'm like, in 1945, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, were there Jim Crow laws?
Right.
And so like that was the kind of thing that was driving me up a
Yes.
wall, is like, when you all are talking about this, my white coworkers and other people in my life, the black experience is completely outside of your frame,
Right. It's
right?
included.
It's outside of your frame. So I'm talking to my therapist about this, and he's like, well, his solution was, well, I mean, have you thought that maybe that's not the best context to talk about those things? I have a whole
Yeah.
chapter in my book
Yeah.
about that kind of response,
No.
right? Like the personal is political.
Right.
This is why I'm dragging a boulder around, is because
Yes.
I don't leave this at home. I
Right.
don't leave it in the car.
Right.
It comes in with me as part of my experience. So I remember feeling like, yeah, like this is why it's important to me. I know that you recently found a therapist.
Yes.
And it was really important for you,
Lord have mercy,
to find a black woman
Yes.
in particular.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why is that?
Oh
for
my
you?
word. Number one, so therapists all need therapists. That's number one. Because we're holding all kinds of things.
Yeah.
There's no way that we have it all together. We can know all kinds of things and not live it. Every time I do a self-care topic, I have to have an intro saying, I do not live this. I preach it, I proselytize self-care, but I do not do it. So having someone to hold with you all the things that you're holding, number one, and a black woman, because I don't need to have to work through, am I offending my therapist? Am I saying too much? Now I'm caring for you as a therapist, wondering if I triggered you with my blackness. I can't be having that conversation. I cannot. So I need to have a shortcut. I need to have everything in that
Right.
room say, you are ready to talk.
Yes.
Get on my metaphorical couch and open up. And that can be with someone, and I will say this too, someone who's mature enough, but also young leaders and young therapists younger than myself also have insight and wisdom. Sometimes it's more important that the understanding of how we're starting off in our Black world, your mental health world, and your theories and all that. That's going to be just fine. You don't have to have lived all my years.
Yeah.
But you've got to have lived in my shoes and in my skin.